Okay, we're going to be talking about independent and dependent variables. So knowing what they are and how to use them and put them together into an equation. So vocab, variable. A variable is a quantity, an amount. It's something that can change. And we'll go over lots of examples. And it is something you can count or measure. Okay. So I want you to notice here that it cannot be a number. Not a number. For example, 8 is not a variable because 8 doesn't change. Okay? Variables are things, something you can count or measure. You can count or measure a height, a temperature, a time, a distance. Those are things you can count or measure. Okay? So you have probably seen before that the independent variable goes on this x-axis. So we know where it goes if we were graphing. And the dependent variable goes up the side here on the y-axis. So independent variable is always x, dependent variable is always y. Okay? Now, the independent variable is the input. It is the thing that you can control or the thing that's in control of a situation. And also in almost every example, if you have time, that is going to be the independent variable. So for example, minutes, hours, days, years, any amount of time is usually x, the independent variable. The dependent variable, on the other hand, is the output, the result, or the outcome, or the effect. So as we look at these examples, you're using these to kind of help you. Okay, what is the thing in control? What is the result or the outcome? And that'll help you decide x and y. So a couple easy ways to remember which is which. Y depends on x. Y depends on x. Or I can kind of flip that around and say x determines y. Okay, you're going to hear me say that over and over. Let's look at some examples then. For Pinocchio, well, what's the relationship there? His nose length depends on, if we remember the story of Pinocchio, the Disney movie, his nose length depends on how many lies? L-I-E-S, how many lies he tells. So in this case, the independent variable is the number of lies, right? That is the thing in control of the situation. This is the thing that Pinocchio can control. This is the input. The output or the result is his nose length. So if I go back up to this box, I could say his nose length, right? This is y, depends on how many lies he's told. This is x. Or I could also say the number of lies he tells determines the length of his nose, right? There's a relationship between those. One of them is in control. One of them is the result or the outcome. Okay, so let's just read through these and decide which is x and which is y. I like to, again, next to x, put control or time. And next to y, I like to put result or outcome. And that helps me. Okay? So, vocabulary, how many words you know, how much time you spend reading. Well, the thing I can control is how much I read. The result or the outcome of that is how many words I know. So that would be y. Hours worked and paycheck. I control how many hours I work. The result or the outcome would be the size of my paycheck, how much you get paid. number of late assignments, and grade. You control the number of late assignments. The result or the outcome is your grade. Detentions and behavior. You control your behavior in class. The result or the outcome, Y, would be how many detentions you get. Okay? So I want you to try the next, there's 2 on the next page, I think. Try the next ones and just see if you can decide which is X and which is Y. If it's the thing in control, put an X. If it's the result or the outcome, put a Y. So read through 5, 6, 7, 8, finish up, it goes on to the next page, and label them X or Y. Hit play when you're ready to check those. Okay, number 6. You control the speed you're driving. The result is how long it's going to take you to stop. So that's Y. You control how many chores you do. The result or the outcome of that, Y, is how happy your parents are. On to the next page. The thing in control is how many calories you eat. The result or the outcome is how much weight you gain or lose. Okay. So let's put that all together into some equations. Okay, we're going to set up our equations. A lot of times you'll see equations written like this. That's how we would write them. Oops, sorry, there we go. That's how we would write them in algebra. But if we kind of break down these different pieces, we still have our dependent variable. That's going to be our Y, just like we've been doing. And X is still our independent variable. Okay, so this is still the result, or the outcome, is equal to, well, maybe you have some starting value, whatever you start with, and then it goes up or down from there depending on a rate, and your X variable or your independent variable. Remember, this is the thing in control or time. Okay, so this is just very basic introduction to writing equations. We're going to do a few together. Number 1. Itchy the cat started out with 50 fleas, and then he is gaining 10 a week. So first I want to think about, what am I counting or measuring? Well, in this sentence, I'm counting or measuring how many fleas and how many weeks. And I know Y depends on X. The number of fleas in this case would be my dependent variable. It depends on how many weeks. Right? More weeks, you'd end up with more fleas. So if I put that together as an equation, the number of fleas, that's Y, is equal to the starting value. Well, he starts with 50 fleas, and he's gaining, so it's going up, plus 10 fleas each week. So 10 times the number of weeks. Okay? Let's try another one. A properly fitting shoe is always 2.5 centimeters longer than the person's foot. Okay, what are we counting or measuring here? Well, we're measuring a shoe and we're measuring the foot. Okay, well, we know the shoe is going to depend on the foot. And Y depends on X. So X is in control. The shoe size is the result or the outcome. Let's write an equation. Shoe size is equal to, well, the foot plus an extra 2.5. Whatever your foot is, plus an extra 2.5 centimeters. There's our equation. Mr. Snicket now has $2,000 in his savings, but he loses $75 every time he goes to the casino. Okay, what am I counting or measuring? Well, how much money and how many times at the casino? We know Y depends on X. Which one is the result or the outcome? Well, his savings depends on number of times to casino. Let's see if we can put that all together in an equation. His savings, Y, is equal to, well, he starts with 2,000, so that's my starting value, but it's going down. 75 is my rate, down 75 each time he goes to the casino. So however many times he goes to the casino, it's gone down 75 that many times. Okay, we have just two more. I want you to pause here. See if you can identify what our variables are. What are the things that you're counting or measuring? And then which one would be y and which one would be x for each of these. You know, y depends on x. And then see if you can write an equation. Just try it. We'll go over it. And then we'll do a lot more of this in class together. Okay, if you're ready to check these last two. Snake's temperature is going to depend on the outside temperature. And if I put that together as an equation, the snake is always 5 lower than the outside temperature. Well, my outside temperature is x, and to get 5 degrees lower, I would subtract 5, or take 5 away from that. So the snake is the outside temperature minus 5 degrees. Colonel Mustard burps 5 times for every pizza slice. Burps depends on number of slices. So the number of burps, y, is equal to 5 times the number of slices. Or I would really just write y equals 5x. Okay? So we'll keep working on this in class, but there's your introduction to independent and dependent variables and putting them together as equations.